Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Geary Goo Review. I'm Moose. That was different. Alright guys, so today I have one of my favorite new pocket knives, and I have kind of fallen in love with this knife in an instant, and it's not a big, huge, expensive one. It's actually budget friendly, so all of you who might like the things I like, or similar things, you might be interested in this one as well, and you can get it for a budget price. Yay! All right, guys. Sorry, I'm super excited. So the knife in question is the Kershaw Mixtape. Heck yeah! Look at this guy. Kershaw Mixtape. Let's see it. All right. There we go, guys. Isn't she sweet? Look at that. Just a cool, like, kind of, where is it from? Is it from the 80s? Is it from the future? What's going on here? Well, let's talk about it and find out. Oh, get it in there. There we go. Alright, guys, so we'll go over some specs. And the specs are blade length is 3.1 inches long. The closed length, or basically handle length, is 4.1 inches. The overall length is 7.25 inches. The weight on it is pretty sweet, under 3 ounces, 2.7 ounces, and it has a blade steel of HCR 13 MOV. It is made in China, and the handle material is glass-filled nylon. And yeah, let's get talking about it. All right, guys. So here we have it. This is one of my favorite new knives, and I can't tell you why, because I don't exactly know. It's just one of those things where you get it in hand, you open it, you use it for like 10 seconds, and you just know. And sometimes there's knives that happens. Sometimes there's knives that take a little longer to appreciate and like. Like, honestly, this thing, I didn't like it right off the bat. But after using it for a while, it's a pretty kick booty knife, so digging it. But this is one that I got my hands on it and instantly kind of fell in love with it. First things first, overall is the image, the look, the layout. I just liked the overall look, the profile. I liked the color of the materials and the hardware, and yeah. So, sorry, got lost there. Let's just start like I normally do with the blade. We have a stonewash finish blade here, kind of a 3/4 inch flat ground blade to a plain edge. There's really no belly, but there is a continuous curve to the blade. It is kind of a sheep's foot, extended sheep's foot, not very stocky or chunky, but we have that rounded off sheep's foot end there. Some people might even consider it a Wharncliffe, but I don't. We do have a nice 3/4 inch or 3/4 blade length swedge up top that'll help this be incredibly slicey. And we have the Kershaw logo on the flat on the one side, then on the other we have the Kai and the HCR 13, and right down here we have made in China. So love the blade shape, love the profile, love the angles from the swedge. Really dig the blade. And two, the blade kind of terminates with a ricasso there, so you can, for the most part, sharpen the majority of the length of the blade. As far as deployment, we do have a thumb disc that is blacked out. I'm glad that they have a different color for the blackout, just to give it something else and tie it into the handle. So overall on this knife we have a silver or stonewash motif and black going on. There's jimping, which is fairly mild, but it's good enough, and definitely locks into hand with my bare hand. Going into the handle scale, it is GFN, and it does have a cloth-like texture to it that actually feels pretty good. And then there's some stylized groovings along there. There's no jimping tying into the actual handle. And then on the back side, we do have some other stylized in that is slightly different than the front side, but the texturing is still the same. we have a slight choil there, finger choil. That's where my pointer finger seems to sit in there, and it's also there for the liner lock. This knife is a liner lock with recessed liners, which is pretty sweet. Helps keep the handle thin and just cleans it up a little bit. The liners on the one side are actually milled out, or at least has a cutout or skeletonized right here. And then there's a picture window in the handle that also has that cutout in the liners, which is cool. So it is slightly skeletonized, and it probably helps keep it under that 3-ounce mark. Now, this is called the Mixtape, and the overall theme or design and look of it is supposed to mimic some lines or styles that were part of cassette tapes from the 80s, late 70s and 80s. And a lot of old cassette tapes kind of had this, what is this, a trapezoid? Or rhombus? I don't remember. Whatever it is, correct me down below. I should know this. But you know what I mean. That flat base there with the angled sides. That used to be kind of the picture window in a lot of cassette tapes to see what side the cassette tape had rolled to. And then you'd know if you need to flip the tape over or not, or how much audio is left. And then we also have a stylized pivot pin there. Flipping over to the back side, we have a matching stonewashed pocket clip with Kershaw branding. On the opposite side of the pivot, which is pretty interesting, it's actually blacked out. So we have the blackout torque screw bit there, and that other side is silver, which is actually pretty cool. I like how they kind of let you know which side's the show side and which one's not. Now, the unique thing is this pocket clip. I do really dig this pocket clip. I was a little concerned at first because it's so like not deep, and there's a fair amount of handle butt sticking out. But what they did was they used that window, put the part of the pocket clip through there, and it actually screws in up here. So the only way to unscrew this pocket clip is to take apart the whole knife and unscrew it from the inside there. So it is kind of a pain to take it off. The other thing too is because of its design, it is one directional, because there's only one spot to screw in on that side. So it is a right side tip up only pocket clip. So that being said, it does run on bronze phosphorus washers, as I might have said before. And yeah, I love the flow through construction. And with those cutouts, it just makes it lighter. And yeah, everything is just rock solid for me with this. Definitely dig it. My one gripe, though, is it is kind of shallow for a full 4-finger handhold. I wish they would have moved this choil up just 1/8 of an inch up, so you can get a full grip like this. Like sometimes I bite up right on that flat part. And I just wish this choil would have been a little bit higher up, because then it would have helped with the grip. That being said, it is kind of a squeeze down here to get my pinky on that part to get 4 fingers. But other than that, like, you know, this and whatever, draw cuts. I mean, I love the blade shape. I love the overall profile. Love the design. I love the stonewash. Love the pocket clip. Like, the smoothness. This is definitely one of the smoothest budget Kershaws I have used in a long time. And then too, I like the fact that when it closes, it has a pretty slim profile in pocket. Like, that's not going to take up a ton of real estate in there. Yeah, so there you have it. Let's compare some comparables. Comparing, we have, what is this? The Spyderco Efficient. Not really similar to it in any way, but whatever. I forgot this little guy. It's like the Kaiser Mini Durin, or I forgot its name, but it's there. We'll throw down the Para 3 lightweight. And we'll throw in a Skyline. And what the heck? Actually, we'll get rid of this Efficient. That's out of place. And we'll throw that one in there. All right. So as you can see, definitely has one of the longest blades out of all of these. And which is surprising because usually the Skyline's pretty tall. If I line up the pivot, it might match. But I am pretty impressed with the overall blade length for length of handle with this one compared to some other knives. Handle length, they're all about the same for the most part. So yeah, we'll start comparing the blade thickness. It's not a thin little blade. It seems that way just because of the swedges, but it's actually pretty thick blade stock, which I also like. Makes it a little bit more robust. Handle's thinner, blade stock's thicker than the Benchmade mini grip. We got thicker blade stock, slightly thicker handle, I think, or pretty much the same than the Kaiser. Very similar though in like handle design. The Kaiser is just a titch shorter when we actually touch, which makes the blade slightly shorter as well. Really dig this knife too. Blade stock wise, pretty similar. I'd say they're about the same. Handle wise, about the same. Cutting edge, the Mixtape has way more cutting edge. Well, not necessarily cutting edge, but cutting length than the Para 3. As you can see there, just a longer overall blade when we line up the cutting edges, line up the pivots, and you're about the same length. Then, of course, the beloved Skyline. Mixtape has more blade thickness, handle-wise about the same, and lining up the cutting edges about the same as well. So, there you have it. Alright guys, on to our last but not least, or actually it is our last test, our favorite test, and that is the ugly brown glove test. So let's get this in here. Alright, so overall texture wise, not that great a grip, but enough on there that, you know, it's not going to just slip out of your hand like a bar of soap. It's good enough. As far as the thumb disc, definitely feel it and definitely can find it and acknowledge it and deploy it. Super smooth. You can flick it out a little bit there. There we go. Jimping up top with the cloth glove feels alright. And with that one little choil actually holds in there. My fingertips of my two fingers here actually kind of seat in that window and help add more grip to it. But definitely easy to close, easy to open. The liner lock is easy for me to get to. Yeah. Does it pass? Yes. Wish there was a little bit of jimping into the actual handle scales, but other than that, great. Nice job, Kershaw Mixtape. Just another reason why I love you. Alright guys, so there you have it. Oh yeah, grade-wise, I give it an A-. A- for the Kershaw Mixtape Ugly Brown Glove Test. So there you have it guys. Overall, just a super rad knife, reminiscent of 80s cassette tapes. If you're looking for a kind of straightforward, no-nonsense knife that is just great for slicing, maybe some food prep, cutting up an apple or whatever, I mean, that blade shape and blade length is just great for that. I did carve a stick with it as well. It does work well if you're looking to do some light hiking as a light hiking knife too. It can work well in that capacity, though I recommend hiking knives to have a deeper carry pocket clip. That's just my personal preference, but nonetheless, you know, all the other features with this blade still make it a great whittler too. Definitely love the control and balance with this. The smoothness of opening and closing. I mean, check this out. Yeah, that's not even ball bearings. The one problem though, if you have to do like that drop test, as you can see, the detent isn't that strong, and because it's so smooth, it just kind of comes out. So definitely recognize that with this knife. But if you're in a state where that's not a requirement of any sort, then you should be good to go. Until you could always tighten up the pivot screw a little to give it some more resistance. But there you have it, guys. Love this knife. This is the Kershaw Mixtape. Check out my other videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry this video was so long, but I dig this blade. Under $30, around $20 to $25. Check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you outside. Peace.